So When Shadows Fall, it's basically a game set in a post-apocalyptic UK. It's a horror game.
So kind of like now.
Kind of like now, yeah. It's very much 2020.
It's like a fog rolling in over there. I can see it, Neal. I'm getting worried.
That's good. So yeah, there's basically a post. There's a fog, been known as a shadow, has rolled in, and it is altering the land as it goes. It seeks power. So where all the power stations were, all substations were, they've been destroyed. So we start the game a few months in, where there is no power set for what people can get with diesel generators and things like that. However, if you leave a diesel generator running for too long, eventually the shadow seems to turn from wherever it is and starts heading towards the power that's being generated. So it does seem that they feed off of power. There is also a number of things that are seen in the shadow. These are known as the denizens of the shadow. They're different things, as some people see hooded figures, some people see what's known as the Reaper, which tries to beckon people into it, and tries to sort of draw people into the shadow. Some people have been known to literally just get up and walk from wherever they've been and walk straight into the shadow, like it sort of gets into your mind and wants you to sort of become part of the great shadow. I'll go for a brief sort of introduction that's in the quick start rules. So it says it's 1994 and the UK is plunged into darkness by a strange fog that has destroyed all major power and substations. This fog, the shadow known as the shadow by some and hell by others, alters the land that it settles on, twisting and changing the flora, fauna, and the very earth itself. If you're either unfortunate or foolish enough to be caught in the fog, it is loath to let you go. If your body does manage to escape, your mind may not. So it's very much a sort of psychological and sort of body horror game. Some people that are swallowed by the shadow might not come out. Some things may also come out but be mutated by the fog. So you'll often come across mutated dogs, cats, bats, gulls, and other sort of other creatures. And sometimes you'll come across the ones that didn't quite make it. Sort of twisted forms of their previous selves. The system is very similar to sort of Savage Worlds and Cortex in that you are using an attribute plus a skill, and it's all to do with die types. So you could have a D6 in strength, and then you could be rolling a brawl if you're trying to punch somebody, and you could have a D8 in brawl, so in that case you'd be rolling a D6 plus a D8. And then there's various difficulty levels that I'll set. So we'll have an average, which is a 7. There's hard, which is an 11, challenging is 9, and so on and so forth. You will see on the spreadsheet that I've detailed the difficulty levels to the right. So I'll often try to, rather than referring to the number, I'll try to refer to the how hard or how easy it is to do by the actual by the word. So, if that's all okay. Other thing is there is a dice roller in Discord. You're free to roll dice on the table if you want to, and then just tell me a number, or you can choose to use in the text channel for today's date. There is a dice roller in there. So a dice roller in there. You do ! roll space, and then if it's 1d6 and 1d8, you do 1d6 plus 1d8, and then they tell me the result that you get on there. Just checking something. So what I'll do is I'm going to go to introduce the sort of like a beginning spiel for the scenario, and then we'll go everybody to introduce their characters. So you've got a little bit of background on your characters there that hopefully you've had a quick look at. Feel free to ad-lib and add extra bits in there as you see fit, so don't be absolutely tied down to that. Likewise, if you want to change your character's name, you can go for that as well, even your character's gender if you want to. So we see a dark fog. It clings and seems to crawl across the blood-soaked ground. Corpses lie all around. One body, moving, rolls over and looks at an oncoming mist with fear. His fearful look turns to one of joy, though, and a big smile beams from his body as it is enveloped by the darkness. The camera pans back as the shadow rolls on, and we see a Land Rover driving down a road, heading out on a supply run. Inside, we see 4 people. So, first character. So, John, do you want to introduce your character?
Certainly. So, I am Rajinder Khaira, I believe, or I will go as Raj as the shorthand. I am in my sort of late 20s, and prior to the fog, I was a mechanic. So you'll know that about me, and that I've met up with you a few weeks ago, and generally seem to be an alright kind of guy, I guess. Good in my hands, good at fixing things, Mickey type stuff. There you go.
Okay. Lynn?
Emma Fenty Chang, so you can call me Fenty if you like. I used to be a lawyer, but in the post-apocalyptic world, there seems to be no need for lawyers, unfortunately. Although there really should be, because, rule of law and all of that, always important, etc., etc. I'll stop now. So no real kind of skills with my hands. I more rely on my brain to get me through. But I found as long as I just keep on moving, keep on trucking, make friends with the right people, making friends and influencing people. It's always the way forward, right?
Awesome. So, Matt?
Right, I'm Steve, who cannot remember his surname, Steve Brook. Probably slightly less of a useful occupation these days. IT consultant in a world without power is almost as good as a chocolate fire guard, but I've got a shotgun and a Land Rover, so I have some usefulness. Other than that, some scout training, so vaguely competent. Vaguely.
Okay.
And the ripe old age of 38, I think I'm the oldest in the group.
And Matthew?
Well, I'm playing Toby Mills. As a security guard, I know a thing or two about handling little monsters, showing them the full weight of the law with my baton. I'm 31 years old. I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks, but I straightened myself out when I got into my lifetime career of looking after shopping centres and disused warehouses, that kind of thing. And, there's a part of me that feels like I was made for this scenario. This may be the opportunity I've always been looking for to really show the world what kind of man I am. I've had to make sacrifices. I'm sure all of us have had to make sacrifices to get here. And while I may not be willing to talk about mine, I'm confident that we've all got secrets. We've all got secrets.
This is true. So the Land Rover, it heads down this road. You have been down this way before, probably about a month prior. And there's a supermarket that had some good supplies in. You managed to get a whole Land Rover and a trailer's worth last time. Managed to get that back to the group. You're part of a nomadic group sort of moving through. And this is sort of like the last-ditch attempt to get to the last amount of supplies out of the supermarket before you keep heading away from the shadow. As you head down the road starts to get a little bit pot-marked. A few fallen trees on the road, things like that. There's overturned cars. Nothing that wasn't here before. Except where the road was, it suddenly stops. In front of you, and you'll have no problem stopping the Land Rover in time. It's a large chasm. Probably about 20 feet across. You're not quite sure how deep yet, unless you pull up and go and have a look. You can see where on the right-hand side of the road, where there used to be a number of buildings that led towards where the supermarket is. Some of those buildings are no longer there. They look like they probably collapsed into the chasm itself. So, as Steve is the driver of the Land Rover, or assumed driver, I mean, it's his Land Rover. If he wanted somebody else to drive, obviously that's his choice. But Steve is probably the driver. What do you do?
Well, stop for us for the first thing. Look to everyone else. Not just me. This wasn't here the last time we came round, was it?
No, mate.
I remember this being a fully functional room.
Yeah, I don't remember falling down a hole last time we were here.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose we should turn around, shouldn't we? It's not like we're going to cross it in this thing.
I mean, what is it, though? Is it like a sinkhole? Is it natural? Is it unnatural?
You want to look down and find out?
I rather thought you might
definitely agree that it's not natural, right?
Yeah,
you just don't just put a giant hole there.
You have seen this sort of thing before, so it isn't unusual in what gets known as the shadow zone. So where the shadow has lingered for a while, that it can create gullies and valleys where there were none before. So it does seem that the shadow may have passed across, but as you look across the other side of the gully of this chasm, you can see the car park to the supermarket. You can see the supermarket, and they're looking untouched, apart from a tiny little bit of lichen on the walls, which again is an indication of the shadow. It doesn't look like it's been engulfed as some other places have been. So your hope is there probably is still some supplies there. But it looks like it's just, for some reason, it's created this chasm that's sort of blocking your way.
Well,
definitely
perfect.
Back up in case the edge is...
Yeah.
Perfect, though, isn't it? Because this means there's less chance of other people ever going there. All the goodies
and less chance of us going there at the moment.
Unless other people have got there and they're trapped in there.
Oh, well, I mean, Mr. Glass half empty. You want to look at it that way.
The glass is twice as big as it needs to be in that case, don't
Listen, I've encountered lots of people who will try and stay inside a supermarket after closing time, run around a bit, have a party. You've probably heard of them. They do this kind of thing, in Safeways, Asda's all the time. It's
Safeways? All right, Grandad, hold on, right?
First of all, 1994. Safeway.
In fact, this is a Safeways.
No curses. All right. Well, hold on. Do you not think like a group of people holding up in a supermarket is a bit on the nose for a kind of situation like we're in at the minute?
I know what you're talking about.
Work for Romero.
We're about to go to the supermarket.
See, Steve gets it.
Does he play for what, AC Milan or something?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what? So we either go along the length of this chasm and try and find a place where it's narrower or non-existent, because I'm guessing this place isn't an island in the middle of a square chasm, but I'm no geologist, or we put something down to cross it, or I guess we try taking a running jump.
Yeah, but we need the car.
I'd suggest we just try and find a way around. There can't be just the one way to get to a supermarket. There has to be another route, even if it means we go miles out of our way.
With the detour.
Right, that's right.
How much fuel do we have there, Chief?
Tap the gauge, promptly watch the dial.
Yeah, it's probably about 1/8 of a tank. There's not a lot.
Joy!
Well, it's an off-roader. You don't want to be one of them people that has one of these types of cars and just drives it around to doing the school run, right? Just take it off-road, go around, it'll be fine. Rugged things these are.
Very rugged. I've bounced my head off the interior of this thing plenty of times. If you go too fast in this thing, you'll end up being bounced around like a ping pong ball. I speak from experience. It's not pleasant.
We often do that around the city.
Yeah, just call them sleeping policemen or roundabouts. Yeah.
She's a proper old Land Rover, solidly built. You know the ins and outs of every part of her. So it's she's solid.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, is there any? I presume we've got a map of the area.
Yeah, you got a map of the area. You can try and make a way around. You think it probably would be, would add probably about 10, 15 miles onto your route. This is on one of these sort of main roads, and any side street near here isn't actually going around it. You would have to go back out a couple of miles to get to it. Get to a roundabout, try and find another way across. From where you are at the moment, the supermarket is to the north. And the shadow is heading toward, the last time you heard about the shadow, it was to the east of here.
And whereabouts would presumably we've been just siphoning off fuel where we can. Do we know if there's any left is there like a petrol station attached to the supermarket, or is there one nearby that we can get?
Not that you've seen. The one just up the road from where you've passed by is now unfortunately empty. That has been siphoned by your group. You can probably go back and have a look to see some of the parked cars, well, not parked cars, but the abandoned cars and the overturned cars on the road.
Yeah, there's going to be even more of them in that supermarket car park, aren't they? That's a lot of preserved petrol in there. So
you definitely see a good few vehicles.
Okay, so if we can drive over there, at least we can refuel when we get there.
Yeah. I guess go west then, as the Pet Shop Boy said a few years ago.
Far too much modern music for my taste.
So you put the car into reverse, turn around, and then head west. So heading across the road, again, as you start approach towards where you think you can get around a different way to get to the supermarket. It looks like you've actually got to possibly the end of the chasm, and it's eaten away into the road. You've got sort of a little bit of a chasm, but it's not the size of the chasm it was before. So you think with a bit of skillful driving, maybe a little bit of luck here and there, maybe use of the winch, because it does sort of.
Or maybe just continue west and find a more safe route.
Your fuel is starting to look like it's getting a little bit dry.
Go for it. Come on.
Yeah, we've got a mechanic. What's the worst that can happen?
That's right. We'll fix it.
Would it be easier to get over this bit on foot?
Yeah, I mean you can walk across this. It falls away about 10 feet. Fairly steady-ish, so you can walk. You should be able to walk down it, and then walk back across the other side. The other side, I'm going to be asking for a roll. It's a little bit. The ground is a little bit broken away, so there's a potential of slipping on the other side. But it's up to you. Do you want to risk the Land Rover, or risk somebody's sprained ankle?
Well, Chief, I've got an idea, and at least it's for the way back anyway. Look, because these supermarkets, they have pallets, they have shelving units, and they're usually in their warehouses. So I've spent a lot of time in supermarket warehouses, have things to strap these kinds of things together. So we can make a bridge on the way back. We don't have to take the Rover over. But we can certainly make an easy route for ourselves back. We can load up a couple of trolleys and
or even do that first, then bring the Land Rover across and then fill it up while we're there, so we don't have to go back and forth many times.
Well, I don't know how well a shelving unit's going to support the weight of a 2-ton Land Rover, but
good point.
It's your vehicle.
Yeah.
Or, and I hate to keep stressing this point, or we drive the off-road vehicle off-road across there and just be there. It's not Blue Peter, not like building bridges out of pallets and carrying things on my back and stuff. We just drive there. I'll drive it for you if you're not going to be whatever.
I was also thinking was also thinking whether you guys wanted to get out and meet me on the other side, because if it all goes sideways and I roll this thing, at least you won't be in it and get bounced around.
Wait. How do we know you're not just going to drive off and leave us here?
Oh, don't be a dick. Steve's all right.
Also, considering, even if I was going to, I'd probably get to the end of the bloody road.
Well, I'm not calling you smart. But most thefts, when they occur, are of opportunity. All right?
Well, why don't we just take some supplies with us when we get out the car? That's our leverage. He's not going to leave without the supplies.
No, I believe you. I'm just making the point. I've made my point, so let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
After you, chauffeur, why don't you drive over and we'll follow on, I guess.
Okay.
Good.
So is everybody getting out, bar Steve? And you're going to walk across, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So for those heading across on foot, can I have an agility plus athletics roll from you? And it's a challenging to get up the other side, so you're looking for a 9.
And what happens if you don't get a 9?
We will come to that. There are options.
Because fairly predictably.
Good. 10.
I got a mighty 6.
You got a 6, so
I have 7.
you got 7, and what did Raj do?
10.
You got 10. Okay. So in this instance, Raj got single success. So if he had extra successes, and that is if he got 2 more than was required for the roll, he can actually lend a success to somebody that failed if he chose to help somebody up. But he didn't do enough of that. So the choices for the 2 people that have failed their rolls is you can spend a point of either physical or mental fatigue. Since it's a physical roll, you can do your physical, you can do your body, or you can choose to just take it on your mind. It's a bit of mind over matter. You're like, I can do this, I can get over this. Your physical fatigue, you should see there on your screen. Now, with physical
I'm
fatigue,
going to reduce.
Yeah, you spend 1 point and you get a re-roll, or you can spend the required amount of points to get the success that you needed. So if on your roll there, for Toby, I think you got a 6, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can either spend 3 points and then get that to be a success, or spend the 1 point and risk doing a re-roll and getting a success. Or you can choose.
I'm going to spend the 1 point. I'll spend the 1 point and get the re-roll.
Okay.
Well, that's a 7.
Okay. So you can
All balances out then.
Yeah, so you can still spend the additional 2 points to get the success. So you've actually not lost too much by doing the re-roll.
That's all right. I'm going down going to go down the slope. See what happens.
You're going to slip down the slope. Okay. If you slip down the slope, it's going to be a D2 of sort of slipping damage. But what you can do is you can actually, you're going to love this, you can buy that off with physical fatigue. And it doesn't go through to your wounds.
Well, I rolled a 1, so I'm going to take a wound of 1.
Wound of 1, okay. So you can either choose to be bruised, you can just buy that off with physical fatigue. But it does leave you at the bottom.
I'll choose to be bruised.
Yeah. So, what was Emma doing? Was she going to spend a point for a reroll?
No, I will spend 2 points to make that a success, please.
Fair enough, no problem.
I'll take 1 in the. Can I split it? So 1 off physical, 1 off mental.
Yeah. So it won't really come up here because this is kind of a quick start rules. The rules for how you recover these aren't part of the rules. But if you're playing a campaign and not the one shot as we are, you can get physical fatigue back by resting, being healed and things like that. Mental fatigue is by doing stuff that's on your motivation. Each character has a motivation, what drives them. They do stuff towards their motivation. They can get back mental fatigue. They also get that back from resting as well, and from talking with others, things like that. You can earn those sort of points back. But mental fatigue tends to come back slower than physical fatigue, because it's often the way you can heal in your body, but your mind is a little bit more of a fragile thing sometimes. Okay, so all three of you are over. So we just have Steve in his Land Rover now. Oh, sorry, no. We still have a few feet down. Unable to get up at the moment is Toby Mills, our security guard. I'm not sure anybody needs security down there. So,
can we try and pull him up?
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, that'll be lovely.
With both of you up there.
Yeah, we'll land the help.
With no roll needed.
Thank you very much. That's much appreciated. Fell on my arse there, looked like a right tit.
It's all right. You just owe us one. Don't forget.
Yeah, I won't forget.
All right. So do you want to stand there and should we watch Steve go across, or are you going to head towards the supermarket?
I'll stand and watch.
Let's watch the... it's a bit of off-road action. This is exciting.
I bet you a cereal bar that he gets it stuck.
Now, ordinarily...
I don't think he's ever taken this out of the city, honestly. He doesn't look like the kind of person that's going to have been going over the fens.
IT consultant.
No. Yeah, exactly. I think he's going to go right nose down, and we're going to have to take one of these bloody escorts from the supermarket.
Not the only one thinking that, trust me.
He's wondering what his dice are going to do for him.
So, well, it's no good if
I'm going to fail.
Yeah. Yes, ordinarily if you're going to be doing a driving roll, you're being chased, you're looking at agility plus driving. But in this position, you're going to be wrestling the controls somewhat. So you're going to be looking at a strength plus drive check. And I'll tell you now, it is going to be hard to get up the side without assistance. So unless you fail spectacularly, you shouldn't roll it. But, I'll just put that out there. So you are going to be looking for an 11 on your roll.
Okay. Watch it fail spectacularly. There we go. Almost a spectacular fail. 3.
Okay.
Oof.
Wait, what's that reroll?
Yeah, so you can spend a point of physical or mental in this instance. So you can do a bit of mind over matter, bit of just trying to think, oh no, that's not the right position for that, or a bit more sort of getting your shoulder into it, and spend 1 point for a re-roll, or the amount of points to get it to a success, which might be not really sufficient right now.
No, I'll go for a re-roll. So... That's better. 11.
On the nose. Awesome. So the wheels were slipping a little bit. It looked like you weren't going to quite make it up there, and you sort of leaned more over the dash, got a bit more traction on those front wheels, and it bit into the road, and you just get over the top lip.
Probably suddenly the air blew most of the way up.
Yeah. So there you are at the top of the chasm, or not the chasm, at the top of the slope. Is the rest of you cheering that, or are you sort of looking on?
Yeah. Give it a little clap in the chair.
Yeah, that was more luck than judgment. Trust me. So,
yeah, for a moment there, I didn't think you were going to make it.
Cool.
No, neither did I.
I had every confidence in you. You were obviously going to make that.
I'm glad someone has confidence in me.
Well, come on then, Lone Ranger. Let's get to the supermarket.
Okay. So it's
a
few short roads away, and then you can pull into the car park of the supermarket. As you approach the supermarket, you can see that there's a number of cars in the car park. Some you've siphoned fuel off before, others you know that you haven't. There's a few overturned cars. Some seem to have been vandalised since you were last here. Parts taken from them, gutted. Some of them even look like people have been using them for some sort of target practice. There is, on the side of the supermarket, Safeways as it was, the windows have all gone. That was there before as well. There is the ground is slightly darkened, and there is this lichen that's lying on the ground there, which is a sign that the shadow has started its work here, but it hasn't fully taken hold of this area.
So it's like the fog's drifted through here, but hasn't stayed for a long time. It's not exactly, the kind of thing.
Yeah. You know, if it spends any time lingering, it starts to eat into the ground. It starts to eat into the buildings. It'll buckle metal. It'll pull down walls. Trees will often be twisted into new shapes. And it's not unusual. You've not seen it, but you've heard talk that sometimes plants seem to actually become alive and can actually grab at the unwary. You can also see there's this sort of gathering of some clouds off to the east. Now you know that the shadow doesn't like direct sunlight, but does seem to have no trouble moving about if it's overcast. So that's worth bearing in mind. As you pull into the car park, whereabouts do you park? What's your plan?
Preferably near to as many cars that haven't been siphoned as possible.
Yeah, anything with a fuel cap still in place, while also trying to be as close to the supermarket as we can. I don't think we should be shy about taking up a disabled spot, you know? I don't think there's going to be much competition.
I think we're worried about parking fines at this point.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can pull in.
Hang on. Is it? You can...
So, yeah, pull in next to... There's a couple of cars you definitely know you haven't been to before, so you can pull in next to those. It's also next to an overturn or a sort of motorbike that's been knocked down on its side. These two cars. There's an old Mark I Golf and a Fiesta. So you can park next to those two.
Mm-hmm. I presume I've got a length of tube or pipe that I've used before.
Yeah, you can use that.
I'd suggest I start getting this loaded up first, because if we do meet any trouble, we do want to be able to get out of here quick. Do people want to stay and wait, or what do you want to do?
Well, we need to get loading up, so if you're refueling, I'll dart in there. I suggest, let's see, why don't we split up, cover as much ground as possible. What exactly are we short on? Probably should have done an itinerary before we arrived.
Just assume everything.
All right, so let's get some, obviously, canned goods, some bottled water.
Mate, this is not the first day. We know what we're doing.
Look, I like to make a plan. All right, fine. Let's just go ahead and pick up bags of Maltesers and some Benson and Edges.
We'll be so lucky.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be
that shit will be gone stuff. Already, and you know it.
My point was going to be that I don't know whether two of us should stay outside and two of us should go inside. How much fuel are we going to need? Can we pick up some cans? Maybe take some fuel with us so we're not constantly going through this rigmarole.
We have visibility of this parking space from inside the supermarket.
There's parts of the supermarket you'll be able to see it from, yeah. Near the checkout area, you'll be able to see this parking space.
Well, presumably you two can do your usual kind of supermarket dash impression. So you're good at that and you're fast and you can carry lots of stuff. I could potentially run into the supermarket, grab a few cans so that if there's spare petrol, we get jerry cans full of petrol. I'm less good at the whole dashing around the supermarket thing. Mm-hmm. Then I'll be out here to support do with the petrol, and you guys will be doing the dash. And if obviously it looks like either one of us are in trouble, hopefully run to one of the areas where you're visible and we'll spot each other.
I was going to suggest,
sounds like a plan.
as people have been using other cars around here as target practice, I don't exactly feel safe being out on my own here. I don't have a set of eyes in the back of my head. So having someone to keep an eye out would be useful.
Yeah. I keep an eye on the clouds as
my
well.
ability to dash. Yeah,
Keep an eye out.
that's what I was thinking. So,
Yeah.
be your eyes person.
All right.
Okay, so
There's a name for that.
Look out,
I'm on the supermarket. I'm on the supermarket sweep, and who's joining me?
Yeah.
All right, come on, Raj. Let's fill up a trolley.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so
Inflatable banana.
Steve's siphoning fuel with them and watching over. Is that right?
Yep, I'm just going to dash into the supermarket briefly if I can to get some cans for the fuel.
Yeah.
Because obviously if there's spare fuel, then we want what we can basically take. So anything that will double as an empty jerry can, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. You should be able to find some empty containers. Most people have probably just left those behind, going for the food and things like that more often.
I remember seeing a movie once where they used just like a bin.
Yeah, there's ways of doing it, yeah. So, yeah, you can quickly grab something. It should only take you sort of 5 minutes to quickly find something and then be back. So Steve won't be out there for too long without you there. So as the other two head in, which side does Toby go? Which side does Raj go? Do you go together? There are trolleys about.
All right, I'll grab a trolley. I'll go for the hygienics stuff. Get some bog roll, get some soap, get some toothpaste, that kind of thing. You never know. You go fill up your trolley with food and drink. What do you think?
Yeah, all right. And if there's anyone lying in wait to ambush us, just scream really loudly.
And ram them with the trolley.
Good plan.
Remember, if someone's standing there trying to look intimidating, and I've done this before in my job, best thing you can do, rush right at them. It's the last thing they'll expect.
Like a shark.
If you say so. I don't watch that Richard Attenborough stuff.
All right. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So, say Raj is on the left-hand side as you walk in, and then Toby's headed out toward the right where the hygiene sort of section is, toiletries and that sort of thing, I'm imagining.
Yeah, pick up some painkillers, plasters as well, basic medical equipment.
Savlon.
That should be around the same area. Savlon, yeah, you never know, do you? Preparation H.
Right, can I get intelligence plus scavenge rolls from both of you, please?
Yeah.
And this
yeah.
You'll be able to find what is in the store, so I already know what's here. This is a question of how quickly it takes you to find what's in the store. So if you get a really, really low roll, it's just going to take you a lot longer to do it. So I wouldn't necessarily suggest spending physical fatigue or mental fatigue unless you are trying to quickly do the job.
All right.
So what have we got?
That's an amazing roll there.
I know, wasn't it? That was supremely excellent by me, if I do say so. It's 19. Yeah, 19.
Okay. So I think on Toby's side, he manages to find a solitary pack of paracetamol by the time that Raj has already noted down what's in his side of the thing, and probably shouts across to say he's already done quite well. So you're still sort of trying to go through the areas. When Raj, you hear a noise coming from the back of the supermarket. It's like dragging sound. Maybe a voice, you're not quite sure. Maybe that was just the wind. The back of the supermarket is more shaded in darkness. There's obviously with no power. There's no lighting in here. The lighting that you're searching by is the lighting from the front of the store through there's the sunlight comes through the windows. So the sort of darkened back of the store, there appears to be a noise.
Well, we should go and investigate that. I feel.
Should you head down towards it, do you?
Yeah. Just call out. Just gonna have a look at something here. And then I'll go start having a look.
As Toby's looking perplexed at the aisles and trying to work out where is what he needs.
I never worked in a safe. Yeah, I never worked in a safe way. I don't know the layout.
Okay. Just outside. So Steve's siphoning off fuel. Luckily, the Golf is actually a diesel Golf, so you should be able to get some fuel out of that. The Fiesta is petrol, so I suppose you might have a petrol generator back at the back with with your community, so you can
find use for it.
Yeah, you can always find use for it. Can I get intelligence and alertness rolls from both of you, please? Again, this will be where I'm not going to require a number. This is merely a passive check. So this is just how aware you are being of your surroundings whilst you are doing this.
Not very.
I am 13 aware.
Okay. So, yeah. Steve is just so concerned with, siphoning off the fuel. I'm trying not to get a mouthful of the fuel as he siphons it off. There is a
tasty.
Yeah, there is a noise Emma hears. It's almost like distant thunder. It seems to be coming from the east, so where the clouds were, where the shadow has been or was. But you're just hearing this, this sort of distant thunder.
Steve, we might have a thunderstorm incoming.
I'll have a look up at the sky. Is it particularly overcast?
Not really. Certainly took more towards the east. It was a little bit overcast. You're starting to hear it now as well. There's definitely a noise. You're not sure if it is thunder, though, but there is a noise. It's reminiscent of thunder, but what else could it be? I mean, that's, Okay.
I'm not going to stick around to find out. So, no, pick up the pace a bit if we can.
If it's not thunder, we don't want to be here.
Either case.
If it starts raining, we also don't want to be here.
You're not going to umbrellas for a start.
Exactly.
So I'll cut back into the supermarket. As Raj, are you heading towards the back of the supermarket? Are you just standing and waiting?
I am, yeah. No, I'm heading in the back.
Okay. What's Toby?
What could this strange noise be?
Where this noise was, or what he was doing?
Well, what have I managed to put in my trolley? That's the most important thing to Toby.
So you've got a bottle of water and a packet of paracetamols. As I say, you had been in here before. That was about a month or so ago, and you're starting to suspect that may have been another group has been through here before as well, since you were here last.
At this point, then I'm going to start filling up the trolley with any old tat. So because I'm more concerned about going back to the car with empty-handed than I am with crap we won't need. At least on the face of it, it'll look like I've been productive if I fill it up with pet food.
And the inflatable banana.
Okay. So you chuck the pet food and the inflatable banana into the trolley.
So like a bag of dry pet food as well, just so we definitely.
There's a slight.
At that point, I'm going to start looking around. Yeah, and wonder where Raj is.
Okay. if you're loading that up, say as Raj moves to the back, so you won't be fully aware of what's happening just now. So Raj, you head round towards the back of the store. Now you're starting to hear it. There's definite kind of footsteps. It seems to be in the warehouse. And again, there's like a sort of, almost like a kind of heavy breathing, gurgly sort of sound. You can't quite make it out.
Hello? Hello, is anyone back here? Do you need a hand or something? There's a few of us.
The noise seems to respond a little bit louder now, but still a bit incoherent.
Use your words, mate. Hello? Be warned though, I got a tin of chili. I'm not afraid to use it. Hello?
You see
poking around.
Okay, so you walk in towards where it's dark, or do you hang back?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. You see the, you get those heavy things that hang onto the, where the warehouses were. So there's no doors there, but there's that sort of heavy material they get. So that gets sort of pushed away, and there's an outstretched arm, and then a head appears. Seems to be humanoid, sort of steps through, slightly hunched over. It's like this outstretched arm, and there's another. It's also cradling itself with its other arm.
Right. Okay. Well, I shall say, and throw the can of chili at its head and leg it back the way I came.
Toby hears a as you're loading up the cat food into the back of the cat kibble and into the back of the trolley, or into the trolley.
Can I
It's
hear...
like cereal, isn't it?
Yeah, can I hear Raj... Is Raj running? Just running, as in the pad of feet, or is he pushing his trolley, most importantly?
Wow. Raj, can you give me an agility and athletics roll for your tin of chili?
Sure.
If you're throwing it at him, I just want to see how much effort you're putting into this. It's you're quite close. I mean, it's probably an average to smack him on the head with it. It's not difficult to throw a tin of chili at somebody. I perhaps wouldn't spend any fatigue on this. But do you actually manage to hit him? Hit it as you...
I don't know, I got an 8.
You got an 8, so that's a success. So as the tin of chili hits it, so Toby hears a slight thump as a tin of chili hits something and then smacks against the floor. And now you hear some feet running.
Yeah.
You don't hear a trolley.
Don't forget the trolley, Raj!
Alright! Go to the trolley. There's a thing back there!
I don't want to see you outside without the trolley.
There's things here! There's things!
Trolley!
Trolley, alrighty! Get your trolley!
Toby now starts to hear it as well. There's this sort of... and then you hear something hit one of the aisles, and then the aisle gets pushed over, and it started a domino effect. So all quite close together, and starting to all go over.
Okay, I'm sprinting with my trolley to the exit then.
Okay.
Same here.
As Steve has got a mouthful of fuel, or he's trying not to get a mouthful of fuel, and Emma is looking about, trying to, a little bit concerned about the thunder. Suddenly Raj and Toby appear, with just the one trolley between them, through the doors of the supermarket.
Zombies!
And I'm in the front of this car.
I'll open both the back doors and the boot, and then get in the front.
Okay.
All right, quickly, you need to unload these trolleys.
Or even just put the
Got the
trolley in
wrong
the back.
It's cat food!
If it's a Land Rover, it's a pretty big thing.
There's zombies. Come on, just get in the truck. Let's go. We'll come back for the trolley. I had a great trolley of food. Come on.
Fine. And I'll climb in.
Climb in. Okay. So you're in the van. Oh, sorry, you're in the Land Rover. I imagine you're shutting the doors. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. You've siphoned off some fuel. You've not got the fuel in the Land Rover yet, so you're still on not quite you're on the dregs of the fuel. Well, about 8 for the fuel.
Retreat to safe distance.
Retreat to a safe distance.
We'll obviously take the fuel that we've.
Mm-hmm. You slung
We're not. Yeah. That's going in. The cat food staying out. That's going in.
Floor it, Steve.
Floor it in reverse. Yeah, no. Pull back at speed, but not crazily.
Okay, so you pull back at speed. Whereabouts are you trying to head? Are you trying to stay in the car park? Are you just trying to get a decent distance from the supermarket, or?
Probably towards the entrance to the car park, because that means we can actually get out of here easier if we need to.
Yeah. Okay. So as you sit there, are you keeping the engine running?
Yes, because I don't want to be in that stereotypical horror moment of why won't the engine start?
Okay. So you can see beside the supermarket where the chasm is. Say there's this sort of 20-foot chasm and the broken down buildings in the thing. You then see a sudden torrent of water comes flooding down, and it's just filling that chasm full of water. It's coming down at such a speed. You're safe where you are, so there's no panic there. But it's pushing. You can see some of the detritus from the buildings and stuff that was sort of stacked up is starting to be knocked over by the sheer weight of water that's coming down. So you think that may have been the thunder noise you were hearing. Was there some sort of flood from further up is now causing a problem here, as this chasm has now become a river.
Right, we are taking the long way home then.
At the front of the supermarket,
Zombies, mate.
a shape appears, kind of on its knees now, as it's sort of trying to drag itself along. One arm still across its chest. In the light of the day, you can clearly see this is a man. He looks injured, and he sort of looks back up towards where you guys are, with sort of pleading eyes, and he's trying to say something, but then blood sort of comes out of his mouth as he tries to speak.
Roll over him while he's still on his knees.
That's a zombie.
Hold up.
It'd be a waste of fuel.
And as that happens, you also see from the other side of the car park, through where some of the cars are, there's a pack of dogs.
We're leaving because those things can move quick.
Like, is that a zombie actually looking at him?
Looks like a person.
I think that's just a dude, but I'm more worried about the dogs. If it'd just been the dude, I'd say go back and get the trolley.
Well, something knocked down all the shelves in the supermarket, and if it wasn't Legless down there, it was something bigger, so I think
I just heard stuff like, I really smacked him in the face with a can. Chili too.
Couldn't be
It's
helped.
not funny. It's not funny. It was stag chili. What a gold mine.
Look, you got to look out for yourself.
Where's the rest of your food then?
What? The food's still in there.
The dogs.
We can go back for it later, but for the minute, drive and get away from here.
Look,
Oh, mate, that fella.
one quick alternative. We grab the bloke, we go in the supermarket, we close the doors so the dogs can't get in. At least we're somewhere safe with food while the storm passes.
That's true. I am worried about the storm. I don't really feel comfortable driving around in it.
We don't even have to grab the bloke. We can just run in there.
We should grab the bloke in case we can use them as a shield down the road.
It's very unusual. The dogs don't look like they're making a beeline straight for the bloke, but they are certainly heading towards his direction. But they're almost look like they're trying to flank him.
All right, Steve, you're the boss man. Make your mind up. What are we doing? You're on the wheel. Come on,
I would have
chop,
suggested
chop.
sound the horn, see if we get their attention, and then drive off and try and actually drive the dogs away from here, then circle back and come here so that they're not out here when we come back in.
It's at the horn. Good one. Go for it.
Okay. So what you take to be the alpha male of the group, he sort of looks across towards the noise. He barks, and two of the smaller dogs start heading towards your direction, whilst the other three dogs, that's including him, start carrying on heading towards the man. This one that looks like it's in the lead, if you imagine an oversized Rottweiler, so its front legs are distended and quite large. It's got massive paws, almost like a tiger. One of the other ones looks like it may have been a Labrador. Its back end, though, it doesn't seem to have. It has rear legs, but it can't use them. It's dragging itself along with its front, its front legs, and its backs. Its legs look like they may have tried mutating, but didn't quite manage it. And they've kind of just these useless limbs that it's dragging along. But it seems to be picking up quite a bit of pace as it's sort of dragging itself forward.
Why couldn't you have found dog food instead of cat food? This would have been a hell of a lot easier.
They might eat
if it's only two.
Yeah, will it not?
Yeah.
Work?
Only two, that might work.
That's
Maybe.
actually a very good point. I'm going to climb into the back, rip open the bag of kibble. Actually, you know what? I've got a can of dog food. I've got it in my bag. I actually had a can of dog food all along. Does it have one of those lovely little ring pulls? Because I don't want to be faffing around with a tin opener.
I'm imagining in 1994. No, it's going to be an awkward tin opener.
All right, we have to try the cat food.
It's alright, just dagger.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. I'm not going to. Using a dagger on a can is probably going to be as effective as well. I might.
No, you can rip them open pretty quick. I've done it.
Oh, here you go. I pass it to you. Dog food.
You start going at the can with the dagger. I don't really care about wrecking the can or wrecking the dog food. I just want the dog food out of the can.
I'm more concerned about stabbing myself or cutting myself in a place with no hospital.
It's easy for you to do this, but I think you are under time pressure, and there is always this danger of stabbing yourself with the dagger. So whoever is doing that, I think I'm going to ask for I think it's going to be a strength plus weaponry roll. Weaponry being what you use for any sort of handheld, axes, something like that. And you are leaning into it. But it is easy. You're only looking for a 5.
I was more thinking maybe,
Use the tin opener.
intelligence plus. Let me just give me a second. Think of something. Knowledge. That'll do. To figure out exactly where the weak point in the can is and stab that shit up. No?
How much time do you think you have? There's these two dogs heading towards the vehicle. This man is laying there, he's on his knees. The dogs are now about 20 feet from him.
If she's busy studying the can for weaknesses, I'm just going to pour this open bag of cat food out the door.
Okay.
Close the door again. Obviously not on the same side as where the man is, because that would defeat the object. It would just serve as a starter then.
Might just be the appetizer they're after. As you drop the food, the dogs do just make an instant beeline for it and start chomping down on the biscuits. With quite.
All right, someone had better pull that guy in then.
I'm going to start driving then when the door's shut. I'm going to aim for those dogs that are near the guy on the ground. Because if they haven't all followed me, my plan ain't going to work. So, time to run over some poor poochies.
Again, it's not going to be a problem to do that. You can hit one of them absolutely fine. If you want to try and hit multiple, what I'm going to say is it's an easy roll to hit the first one, and then for every 2 success, every 2 points, so as an extra success that you get, you can then hit an additional dog.
Gotcha. Well, the alpha's going to be my first target then, because that was the one that ordered the other 2 off. So take the head off the snake, as it were.
Yeah.
So is that going to be agility and drive?
So this time round it's an agility because it's just an ordinary car park. You just got to swerve to avoid things. So yeah, your D6 and your D8.
7.
Oh, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay. So you get the successes needed, and you didn't fumble at all. So there's no real damage to the Land Rover, apart from maybe you've dented the corner where it hit this Rottweiler. And as you saw it, you can see that it almost had a sort of distended jaw. And as you hit it, there's an awful crunch and then a splat as you then drive over it. And again, there's another crunch and a splat and this awful noise of this dog whimpering and it's in its final moments. And Steve used to have a dog, so there's the definite sort of, oh, crikey. So I'm afraid, even though it is a mutated dog, this is where I'm going to ask you to lose a point of mental fatigue as you feel this thing crunch underneath you. The other 2 dogs are a little bit, you don't really notice it so much. It's probably like hitting a rabbit, really. You clip the Labrador. You've killed it. So you've taken care of those. You have a little moment. And then what do you want to do? You're going to pull back over to where this man is.
Swing back round and run over the other 2 that are eating by the dog food, the cat food.
Oh, okay. You've got perfect time to line these up. I mean, they are literally sitting doggies as they're sitting there chowing down. One appears to be a pug. Or what may have been a pug. It's got some weird sort of tendrils coming from it, and these tendrils are sort of snapping at some of the food and pulling the food back inside it. And then there's a mighty sort of crunch as you go over the top of that one. And then the other one used to be a poodle, you think, like a miniature poodle. It's may have used to been white, but it's more a sort of pinky colour now, and it's certainly very pinky as that one's gone over or gone underneath your left wheel, and then there's a certain skid as you sort of try and gain traction on it and pull yourself away.
Bloody hell, Steve! Did someone hurt you as a kid?
Actually, like dogs.
Cold, man. That's cold.
What can we do? Look at them.
Well,
they're messed up. They're.
You're having a look, are you?
No.
Yeah, I'll have a look.
So one used to be a pug. This other one was some sort of poodle type dog. But you can see actually where its fur was is now sort of spines.
It's tempted to reverse over just for good measure.
Okay. So reverse over.
We better go. Is there any other than left?
They are all gone. It looks like the Labrador might still be alive, but you don't think it's got long. It looks like it's still trying to drag. It's now dragging itself with just one paw, and its head is sort of off at one side, its tongue lolling out. Okay.
Yeah, definitely put out his misery. Run over it on the way to the guy on the ground, zombie dude.
Okay. So you run it over absolutely no problem. As you then come to a stop where your so-called zombie dude is, as you hit the brakes are a little bit spongier. There's obviously a lot of liquid around the brake disc. As it sort of slides a little bit, and it sort of comes to a stop, maybe a couple of feet beyond where you wanted to stop.
I am definitely going to get this cleaned.
And the guy is sort of looking up at the side window now. Who's passenger? Who's riding shotgun? So Emma was riding shotgun. So he's looking up into your eyes now, Emma. Clearly this guy is injured. He's looking quite emaciated, and he's wearing a loose-fitting shirt and trousers, and quite nice shoes.
How nice.
You think whatever job this person used to do, he used to have money. Proper. I mean, Emma will know they're proper. I don't know, Gucci, Armani. I don't know. They're very expensive shoes.
Always judge a man by his shoes. I will give him a very careful once-over while he's kind of looking at me.
Okay.
Boldly and quite dispassionately, because I just want to see if there's anything about him that suggests he might, be mutated or there's something wrong with him.
No mutation. He looks like he's clearly hasn't had a meal in a good few days, and he's clearly injured. He's definitely holding his stomach for some reason.
Weird. Find him in a supermarket and he's not eaten.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried. I'll jump out though.
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, me.
What's wrong with your stomach? Take your hands away.
This is his hand away. You can clearly see blood on his shirt, and then there's some blood dripping down. So he's got some sort of stomach wound.
Okay. What do we want to do, guys?
Well, I don't
Doesn't
think
seem mutated.
I don't think Raj did that with the chili. Let's ask him. How did he
the
get?
dogs could have.
Well, but the dogs are all the way over there. He was inside. So let's find out first of all how this happened to him. I don't want to get close to him.
Sorry I hit you. It's a chili, mate. I thought you were a zombie.
And he's trying to get himself up, but he can't. He hasn't got the strength in his legs to stand.
I've got a degree of medical skill. Can I, from leaning over and kind of looking out the window at him, get an idea? Is it actually worthwhile trying to help him with what facilities we've got back at our place, or is it more humane to just put him out of his misery?
You think if he's suffering from a stomach wound, it may have done more damage than you'd actually be able to deal with properly.
Mm-hmm.
Medicines aren't there. You're running low on medicines. If he's punctured an intestine, there's.
Yeah.
But he's looking at Emma with pleading eyes, this sort of sorrowful look in his face, like a man that's been wronged.
I'll look back at Steve, because I assume I know that you've got some medical knowledge.
Yeah, I'm just shaking my head.
Okay, if I see that, I will kind of lean down towards him then, lean in, kind of hold him up a little bit, like I'm giving him a hug.
Okay.
Just so that he has that last little bit of physical comfort. And while I'm there, I will try and slash his throat without him realising.
Oh, cold. Okay.
If Steve said that he's not going to make it, this is mercy.
Yeah, okay. You will take a point of mental fatigue.
That's fine.
You usually do murder this person. So describe how you end this man's life.
Yeah, so I'll from where we were all standing, just kind of examining him and talking to him. I'll stoop down to his level and meet his eyes and kind of give him a little nod, but I won't say anything. Take his hand in mine, lean in, give him a hug, draw him in, so that his head is resting on my shoulder. And when he feels like he's starting to relax, like he's getting more comfortable, that's when I'll flash his throat, because at least I've been able to give him that last little human contact.
Okay. As the blood jets out from his throat, I don't think you can stop getting some of it on you. You were quite close, standing there.
Yeah.
What were the others doing whilst this was going on? Just sort of watching.
I was stuck beside him.
Were you in the car, Emma? Did you sort of pull him up to the car, or did you step out?
No, I'd jumped down earlier to talk to him.
Yeah, I'm just watching through the window. I mean, I was in favour of leaving this guy because he's clearly in a state that none of us can fix, but I wasn't in favour of killing him, you know. So yeah.
How do you feel seeing this this ex-lawyer? She's just murdered this man.
I want to make a joke about cutthroat lawyers, but it feels in poor taste right now.
Okay.
I'm going to be looking at Emma very differently.
Since Emma's outside of the car, can I just get a intelligence and alertness roll from her, please?
Right.
I was outside as well.
Okay, so yeah, same for you then, for Raj.
5. I'm busy. I'm really busy.
Again, this
I'm
is
having a
massive
moment.
checks where I'm just seeing how aware you're being.
So I popped out to go around to speak to him and apologise for hitting him in the face. Little did I know.
So, as this man just drops, as his lifeblood is drained away, you're pretty sure you can hear running. And just as the clouds are starting to get overcast and the temperature drops.
Hell, Emma, what'd you do that for?
Did you want me to do? Let him just bleed to death slowly. There's nothing we could do for him. Steve already confirmed that he's a lost cause.
We don't know that. He was just
You a doctor now? Steve's the only guy amongst us who has any knowledge of medicine. If he tells me that he's a lost cause, I'm going with that.
He might have been alright.
His insides were stabbed to shit. He was in a lot of pain.
You can hear some running getting closer now, Raj.
Wait, whoa, what's that?
Everyone back in the car. I don't want to be the only one sat in here.
Trust me, you're not the only one sat in there. Brum, brum.
I'll jump back in.
Yeah.
Jump back in as well.
Do I have time to do a quick kind of search of his pockets or not really?
Depends. Are you willing to hang around to see what's coming running, or... Okay.
Oh.
So you get back inside, and just as the door gets slammed shut, somebody throws himself at the side of the Land Rover.
And we're away.
There's a massive bang, and then the Land Rover drives off, and this person collapses next to the corpse of whoever that man was. And then you drive off.
So as we're driving,
yeah,
Steve, you didn't actually get a chance to put the fuel in the Land Rover, did you?
No, I know. We need to park up and get it in.
Yeah.
I'm not staying around while there's some lunatic.
I'm not suggesting that we do. I'm just thinking we have a very narrow window.
Mm-hmm.
You can find somewhere, a little bit further up. There's definitely some places to pull over. It's not like you've got any traffic on the roads, so that's not a problem.
Somewhere nice and open so that stuff can't just sneak up on us.
Yeah, although it does mean that anything in the distance can see us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, one of the things with when shadows fall is normally at the start of every session, the SM, that's the Shadow Master, would ask the players to make a willpower plus intelligence roll, and this is how mentally strong they are that session, that sort of timeline. That would normally be a roll done in secret, so that each of the players doesn't know who got the lowest roll. Obviously, it's going to be a bit trickier to do it this way around, online. But if I can get everybody to make a willpower and intelligence roll for me, and just let me know their numbers. Because the problem with the shadow is it tends to prey on those weak of mind and weak of body.
Lucky for some. 13.
Okay. So
9.
9. So what did Raj get?
12.
12, okay. And then Toby?
13.
13. So it's Emma with the 9.
I've just been traumatised.
It's probably quite fitting. It is probably quite fitting.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget you're the person that killed him.
It's mercy killing because it was the best way out for him. If I was in that amount of pain and guaranteed to die, I would rather you killed me.
And yet he didn't ask for it.
He did say, help me.
Of course,
He did.
as Steve's putting the fuel in the car, Emma, you're sitting there and thinking about what's happened. What's Toby doing?
I'm very much looking at Emma and wondering what shit she's going to pull next. Because, again, no issue with leaving a man to die if he's dying. I do think it takes a different level of coldness to end his life, but that's the way Toby thinks. So I'm rummaging through the shopping that we did manage to load, what little of it we have, just to make a brief list of what we've got and whether it's going to be necessary to go back to that place or find another supermarket. So what did we manage to get aboard?
You've got a few tins of beans. Probably not the best thing to eat in a trapped Land Rover. You got a couple of bottles of Safeway cola. Always nice. You got those paracetamols you pocketed earlier, so that's not so bad. There's some packets of Rennies. That'll probably help digest the beans.
Yeah, well, that's dessert.
Yeah. There's a half a bog roll. Not quite sure whatever happens to the other part of it, but maybe somebody was caught short in the supermarket. So you're going through all of that.
Half a bog roll in that it's been pulled, half empty, or someone's chopped it in half.
It's half used. Maybe somebody thought it was a cake and tried to slice through it.
All right, well, if we've got 3 tins of beans and some Rennies, that means we've got enough food to last us at least for another couple of days. Yeah. So we're not entirely doomed.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can't make your way back to your group, you can survive for a bit. What's Raj doing?
Yeah.
I'll be I'll stand out with Steve when he's doing his car thing.
Oh.
Makes me feel a bit more useful looking or doing something about something I understand, like cars. It's lamenting the lost trolley. There's some great tins in there, Steve. Great tins.
Well, hopefully it'll be there.
Your trolley was left behind, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's some mushrooms. There's another few chilies.
That tin of chili, I mean, that's what's happened to that now?
I mean, he honestly did. He looked like a zombie. I mean, I think it was reasonable to think that, in the circumstances. Don't you think, Steve?
Him like, kind of in pain, going.
He was all hunched over. He's like, and I swear he said brains, and his hand was out like that, and he's coming straight at me.
Holding his gut, he bent over. So
he's all hunched. It's like he didn't even look human. Yeah.
And if you just threw a can at him, that wasn't going to hurt him any more than he'd already been hurt.
Well, it has ended up being a bit of a mooted point, right? Because he's dead now.
And as you're thinking,
but
the sky's getting a little bit more overcast. Emma's sitting there.
Yeah, again.
She's thinking about that man. He sliced his throat. Of course, technically, he bled out, really, but with his throat slashed, he was gasping for air. He was suffocating. And as you're thinking this, you can't quite catch your breath. You're struggling for air. You feel your throat.
It'll stop. Oi! Toby?
What is it?
Can't breathe.
Are you choking on something?
Can't breathe.
All right. Hang on.
Start fumbling at the door.
Hang on. Do I have like a brown paper bag that I might have stuffed some of these tins into?
There's probably an old McDonald's wrapper somewhere.
All right, here, have this Happy Meal bag.
It's the white bags as they used to be.
Breathe into this. I've seen it in a film. Controls your breathing. They do it when you're giving birth or something.
What am I supposed to do?
You breathe into the bag. It means you're not breathing in too much or breathing out too much. Just do it.
I'll try to follow instructions.
Yeah, you start trying to do it, but there's a darkness closing in around the vehicle. None of you see this. This is just something that's for Emma. You can see tendrils of fog start stretching inside the vehicle as you're gasping for air, and you don't think this bag's going to do anything for you. But you almost feel...
Kind of throw the bag aside.
Yeah, you almost feel like maybe the shadow should just take you. It shouldn't need to suffer any longer. The coup de grace that you gave to that man, it's kind of what you feel sometimes that maybe you should have. You've been running for how long? Trying to get away from this thing. I mean, you're not quite sure how you managed to get away from it before. Did it spare you? Maybe it's asking for you to come back to it now. Maybe you want to leave the Land Rover. Maybe you want to just go for a walk. Maybe it's the air in the Land Rover. You can't breathe because of it.
It will throw the bag aside and between kind of hyperventilating turning into gasping sobs as I just can't breathe or cry or do anything, I will grab at the door and hope that I can get it open in my frantic need to get out of this car. And shove my whole body against it as I'm trying to open the door, so if I manage to get it open, I will just fall out of the Land Rover.
So you hear this thumping coming from the inside. Steve and Raj and Toby, she's clawing at the door.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning back now in stunned disbelief. I don't know what's going on. And when she opens the door and when she tumbles out, I shout to the other guys. I don't know what she's doing. I didn't touch her or anything. She just tumbled out the car. She seems to be hyperventilating or something. I don't know what's going on with her.
Well, put down the tube, the hose, and open the door up and get her out of there if that's what's causing you distress. Maybe she'll calm down outside.
Okay. So you flop outside. You can breathe maybe slightly more, but you feel that the only release is to head towards the shadow, head towards the east where it was, where you think it might be.
I will kind of blindly stumble eastward, just ignoring everybody, and just continue to try and gasp breaths into me as much as I can.
Okay.
It'll probably be quite loud, like as I'm just stumbling eastward down the road.
Okay. Now
I'm not going to let it just wander.
As you're sort of stumbling along, and you managed to get out of the Land Rover, what I'm going to ask from you now is another intelligence plus willpower roll. It's going to be very hard, and what this is you trying to get sort of mind over matter over this thing. That whatever's stopping you from breathing, you don't feel it's something physical. So this will be you sort of trying to get back to it, trying to be able to breathe, trying to control your mind.
Okay. 14? That I don't know what that is.
Absolutely perfect. That is, you've hit it. You've gone one above. So it's almost like you just get a hold of yourself, and you're like, do you talk to yourself in the third person? Maybe you're like, stupid Emma. What are you thinking?
Come on, Emma. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. You can get over this stupid fear. You have no fears. No fears. Mind over. No fears. No fear, Emma.
And almost as that running through your head, you just gasp air, and it just feels beautiful as it fills up your lungs. It's almost a euphoric sort of feeling.
I'll just collapse onto my knees on the road and just breathe.
I mean, to Steve's medical sort of eyes, say he's got a little bit of medical training, so she really does look like she was gasping for air, and this is definitely the sort of feelings that somebody gets when they sort of manage to breathe again, almost like they've choked on something, and they're getting that sort of colour back into their skin as they breathe again.
You okay there?
Yeah.
Sneak attack, was it?
Yeah, just needed a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Remorse, probably. Yeah.
Claustrophobia.
I think it was just the air. I swear I saw tentacles.
I get that way. I get that like claustrophobia, like Steve said. I have that. Fierce it is. Ooh, don't like being in an elevator. That Land Rover is no good, actually, at the best times. But yeah, you get it. You're feeling like, woo, can't breathe.
But I think it's all good. It's good. One, tentacles, right? No.
You look around and the Land Rover looks fine, and nobody else. Yeah, you didn't see anything.
Tentacles.
You guys didn't see the tentacles, no? It was just me.
Yeah, it was almost like sort of tendrils of fog that you saw.
No.
I probably just need some rest. Guys, all right if I get back in?
Or stand outside for a bit and get some fresh air.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah,
one.
I think I'll get out as well.
Well, I mean, the clouds are starting to roll in now, and you know that if there's clouds, and you know the shadow may have been here before, you might not want to dally. You also know it's not unusual that it does do sort of psychological attacks as well, so,
Right, gang, before we head off, we've got 3 tins of beans. That's our ration. And we've got a packet of Rennies if you fancy dessert. They come in strawberry and they come in banana. So that means we do need to get on to somewhere new to pick up some food, or we cycle back.
Couldn't get hold of peppermint.
No, they were all out of peppermint. I did look.
Really fancy some peppermint.
I got half a bog roll. So be thrifty.
It's not quite peppermint, though.
Close your eyes.
It tastes like anything.
Yeah.
Raj, do you remember where you left the trolley inside?
Inside it, like. I'll see. Right at the back. I was going to grab it, but a zombie came. Granted, it wasn't actually a real zombie, but...
Do you think you'd be able to run in, grab it, and run out fairly quick?
No.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
But that's actually a really good idea. You mentioned the back. See, everyone who's going to have been raiding this place is going to have been parking in the front, going in like a customer, emptying the shelves. No one's going to be going into the storerooms around the back.
The loading bay, that kind of area.
Exactly, and there's going to be stuff that's still sealed in there that no one's going to have touched on big pallets as well. So we'll be able to bulk load up the Land Rover. We'll be eating the same meal for a few days in a row, but at least we'll be eating.
Yeah, but in the back is where all the noises were coming from.
They were.
Well, I'm just suggesting if we go in as a group this time.
Do we have any torches and stuff? Hold on, let me have a
Got
look.
the headlights of the...
I'd say, yeah. I hadn't put one on the items list, but I imagine you're going to probably have a couple of torches, battery powered. Probably got a little bit of juice left in the batteries.
But yeah, if we can roll up the shutters and, like Steve said, turn the lights on. Then,
it's really dark back there, lads.
It's
really dark.
The clouds are rolling over the supermarket at the moment.
Well, I'm open to alternatives because I'm not saying we go back there right now.
Well, let's get ahead of this stuff. If we're going back, it's a good, if we can get some more stuff, but we just need some lights, I think. If we've got torches and stuff, yeah, I'd do it.
Or we can wait till tomorrow. I mean, the store isn't going to legs and run away.
Yeah.
But it's fuel consumption, isn't it? The more trips we make back here, the more fuel we consume, and we're constantly running out because we've siphoned what we can now.
It's up to you guys.
How long do we have before I reckon the storm will hit properly, Neal? We'll be in darkness, basically.
Probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Why don't we do the run for the trolley now, and then we can consider the pallet idea when we've got more time to play with?
Do you remember that something came running at the Land Rover when you were in the car park last?
We don't know if that fella was that last one was the last of them, or just the vanguard, so to speak.
Or we just call it because we've not had the best of luck on this run.
Find somewhere
and come back.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
Considering what we've seen so far, and we're fairly kind of daylight with what's coming, I don't really want to see what else is here.
Nah. Okay. In which case, looking at the road map, where would be the next town across, or somewhere that might have another supermarket?
Getting in and heading west. Just keep going the way the group was going. Yeah, away from the shadow. So your part.
Where does this river come from?
The flooding?
Where did all this water come from?
Assume it's a flood-up river, maybe, and something's broken down, and it's kind of just hit downriver. Otherwise...
Or it broke, the fog or whatever broke into a canal or river or dam. Might be a lake.
Some twat with a Land Rover knocked a dam down.
There's lots of twats with Land Rovers, trust me.
I know.
10 a penny in an apocalypse. On that note, we'll leave it as you guys are in the Land Rover heading west to the escaping the clouds, escaping the overcast sky. And that was a brief introduction into the world of When Shadows Fall.
Oh, cool.
We survived.
Oh, did we?
Thank you, Neal.
Thank you very
much. Too cruel. Oh, can you do that a bit louder?
Ba 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 ram.
I wanted him to do it twice. It's fine, right? Yeah. Oh.
This is all going to go into the bloopers, okay?